Okay, it looks like we are live, so I will go ahead and call to meeting this special session of the Auburn City Council for 21st, 2020 and our Auburn Economic Recovery Workshop. If you'll all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I do have a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, as this is a special session of the City Council, I'll go ahead and ask the City Clerk to please take the roll.
Councilmember Dowden Calvillo is currently not in attendance. Councilmember Amara.
Present.
Councilmember Mackey.
Here.
Councilmember Stokely.
Here.
And Mayor Berlant.
And I am here. Great. We'll go ahead and move to public comment. This is the time provided for any persons to speak to the council on an item that is on this agenda. We had notated on the posting of the agenda the format to send in public comment, i.e. We were accepting public comment via email as well as telephone. This is in accordance with the executive orders related to the COVID-19 impact. So I will start to see if there's anybody in the group here that has any comment that they'd like to make. Okay, seeing none. City Clerk, is there any public comment?
I just double checked that and there's no public comment for this meeting.
Okay, great. Then let's go ahead and jump right into our workshop. So the first item on here is our health and emergency response update. I did just get off of a meeting with our county health officer, and definitely, finally, a little bit of good news to report. The first item is that we actually have been seeing a decrease in the spread of the virus within our county. If you remember 2 weeks ago when we met, our per capita per case rate for 100,000 was beyond the state's threshold, which had kept us now for what seems like several months, but at least a month, kept us on the state's monitoring list. We have since been removed from that monitoring list as our case rate has gone down to an 82.2 per 100,000. That threshold by the state is 100,000. Our number of cases right now in positive cases, just over 2,700 positive cases. This week only added today only added 16 new residents. So we're definitely seeing a decrease in the spread of the virus, which is why we have met the requirements to come off of the monitoring list. And so what does, well, one more thing, our hospitalizations have been averaging about 60 people in the hospital. That's both Placer County residents and but averaging about 60 people in the hospital, except for today. Today, there have been almost 10 people discharged from the hospital. So some good news there as our hospital numbers are looking like they are improving. Our bed availability is improving. Health officer said it's looking much better. It's still not great. I think today there's about 15 open beds available for patients. A little bit of bad news, though, in all of this, just to remind us of the dangers. There were 3 deaths over this past week. That brings the count up to 30 residents from the beginning in March when COVID-19 began. So 30 residents have died. She did clarify all of them did have underlying medical conditions as well. So a little bit about the data. If you remember 2 weeks ago, there was a backlog in the state's data system. They have since fixed that, and they have gotten all the backup caught up. And so all of the numbers that have been tested are now displayed by the state. And so it has given us a better picture and actually a good picture for us in Placer County to really kind of get to see where we are today, not with all of that data dump that really kind of threw us over the thresholds with numbers. So what does coming off the state monitoring list mean? Really the immediate is higher education, specifically William Jessup and Sierra College are allowed to return back to in-person instruction. In 14 days from when we were removed off the list, which was earlier this week, so those 14 days are already counting down, K through 12 is allowed to open as well. That's again, assuming that we continue to stay off that list. The county has developed and released a waiver system for the elementary schools and the high schools should they want to reopen before that 14 days. And the health officer is reviewing 7 waivers, all from private schools at this point. Specifically, there's a lot of work going on with the schools because the state guidelines require the schools to have a pretty significant amount of testing availability for teachers. Should something go wrong and somebody test positive, they've got a number of testing requirements for potential exposures. And so they are working on protocols on how to ensure that teachers and those employees get those testing. So the thing it doesn't mean at this point is after the 14 days, there's really no change in the restrictions that have been set for our businesses. So indoor dining, gyms, personal services like hair and nails, there is no change even after 14 days. So really at this moment in time, when we clear that 14-day mark, which I think is September 2nd, all it really means at this moment is that K through 12 schools can open to in-person instruction following education guidelines. The County Board of Supervisors, as you may have seen, but as well our health officer has sent letters to the state asking for a number of the business restrictions to be lifted and to allow us after that 14 days to get some of those businesses reopened. There is a statewide order though that is in place that is unrelated to the monitoring list. And so that's where indoor dining, gyms, and a number of others still remain closed, regardless of us coming off of the monitoring list. So on the call, I really pushed hard on our county health officer and to our other local elected leaders there that said, hey, you know, our air quality today in Auburn is in the unhealthy range. It is more dangerous for our residents to eat outdoors and to get their hair cut outdoors and to do all these other outdoor services that were restricted when the monitoring list was first put into place. And so with all of the proper measures that have been for indoor dining, for these personal services, we really want to see the state provide a little bit of relief to those restrictions. So myself, our board of supervisors, our chair of the board of supervisors, some of the other mayors, we are likely to send a letter to the state asking for some of those additional guidelines to be revised so that come September 2nd, we can see some relief, but also ask that for restaurants that we begin moving to indoor dining with limited capacity and all the other requirements that had been put into effect earlier in the year to allow them to reopen because it's healthier to get them inside and out of the smoke and out of the heat. So with that, that is my update for the health item. So happy to answer any questions anybody might have. Okay, great. Not seeing any.
Daniel, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
I'm sorry, I might have missed. Did you say something about gyms? Are they able to reopen?
No, gyms as of this moment are still closed.
Oh, they are. Okay. Okay. Are they 2 weeks away or?
No, there are
not?
no business restrictions that are lifted after the 14 days. So just a little bit of background.
Okay, thank you.
When we went onto the monitoring list, the rule was on the list, these restrictions go into effect. Right after we got on the monitoring list, the state came out and put a statewide restriction on all of these. So everybody has to follow it. So now that we got off the list, the statewide restriction is still in effect. And that's what needs to be rescinded to allow us to, now that we're off the list, unrestrict some of those sectors.
So Daniel?
Yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
Cheryl. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So what was the point in getting off the list then if we can't have any of our businesses open?
Well,
other than the schools?
I think that was some of the frustration that our chair of the board of supervisors and some of the other mayors had is, you know, look, we've been working so hard to get off the list. We met your goals. We reduced, our numbers. We've slowed down the spread. So now, give us some, relief on your restrictions. But yes, at the end of the day, all it immediately means is anything that related to education.
Daniel,
Hey.
I would like to suggest that we as a council send a letter to the acting health director as well, basically in support of what the Board of Supervisors have said. Because I think it is important, and I'd like to see us at least, if we make it consistent with schools and wait 2 weeks, that seems like that would be ample opportunity. We understand we don't want to go in and out every 2 days, but 2 weeks seems sufficient. And I would very much like to be able to see the city council send a letter to the governor echoing the same comments that the Board of Supervisors did. So I don't know if we would, this is a workshop, but all the council members are present. This is, we don't have it on the agenda to sign a letter, but I think that it would be consistent with the Brown Act. John could certainly weigh in on that. But I would like to make that motion unless John thinks that there would be a violation. But I seriously don't think there would be.
So do you want us to bring something back to our Monday meeting, or do you want to direct myself and the vice mayor and the city manager to send something? What's your thoughts?
Well, I'd
Yes.
like to make a motion so that that we send a letter signed by all the council member, or, it could go from you on behalf of the full council. So I'd make a motion today. I think again, because we have this item on the agenda for health and emergency response update, I think we could take that action today. If that was what the council wanted to do, I'd be prepared to make a motion. So I don't think we would need to move it to Monday's agenda. I think we could take that action today unless John feels it would be a violation.
No, we can do it.
Okay, so,
We can make a motion and direct the mayor to write a letter. And I think we could do it absolutely today.
yes, so I would like to make the motion that we draft a letter to the same person that the Board of Supervisors, the acting director, that's echoing the same comments. We want to see businesses back to business within the 12 days. So I would just frame it after their letter.
I'll second.
Can we discuss that, Sandy?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, Sandy.
Absolutely.
Well, although I'm not against that, I'd like to see a letter before we send something out, number one. And number two, this wasn't a noticed action item, so I'm a little uncomfortable doing this just kind of spur of the moment. If it's a direction to bring something back to another meeting for discussion, I don't have a problem with that.
You can legally, under the Brown Act, make the motion from the floor on any item that's on an agenda. It's very legal to do.
I agree with that. Because we have on the agenda health and emergency response update, I feel that we are within the confines of the Brown Act. But again, if John disagrees with that, I'd want to hear that from him, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think
John?
we're probably okay. I don't know. But the point is, it's not noticed. And I like notice, so.
Well,
Yeah.
as a non-council member, can I jump in on the agenda? There's a sentence that says no authority action will be taken. What does that mean?
Mhm.
You know what, just to have it, why don't I have a letter ready for the council? I'll bring it up in, this is an item that's on the council meeting for Monday. I'll have a draft of a letter out to everybody on Monday, and we'll have it sent to, it'll be in the mail on Tuesday morning. And I'll have the draft letter for everybody to take a look at. We'll talk about it at the council meeting, and that way you can fully have an action item on this thing on Monday, no problem.
So will we need to revise the agenda then, John? Because I know the COVID-19 item is under reports only, which doesn't necessarily mean action, but would we need to revise the agenda then
Well, if this agenda says that there's not going to be any formal actions taken, that would be the conflict. At the
Yeah,
council
I
meeting,
understand.
it's on the agenda, and the idea that the council gives direction based on a report on it, no matter what, it's on the agenda and the council can take an action on anything that's on the agenda. So I'll just have a nice draft letter ready to go, and it'll be in the, literally we'll have it in the cybersphere Monday night.
Great. Okay. Thank you. And I appreciate that, Rob, that you pointed out. It does say no authority will be taken. I didn't see that, but you're 100% right on that.
So
So
we'll
thank
take
you.
then,
I didn't see that. I didn't see that on Interstate 5 either, but I think we need to take that off this agenda for future meetings because there
Yeah.
are times we're going to have to take action.
Yeah.
So, but we'll take Allison Sherrill's motion as direction, and sounds like John has a clear direction. We'll bring it back on Monday. I'll let John and Amy and Gary figure out if we need to make some changes to the current agenda or if it stands so that we can take action on Monday to do such. And then John and Amy and I can figure out the agenda language for the future if we need to adjust it accordingly so that we can do.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yep, no, thank you for that. I think that's you know, when I asked Dr. Sisson, hey, you know, you said you sent a letter, you said you have been mentioning to the state, you know, lifting these restrictions, the Board of Supervisors sent it, does it help to have us do anything? And her answer was yes, that the state is at a state level in Sacramento. They don't necessarily see the day-to-day impacts that it has. And so she thought it does help for them to hear from us and local at the local level of what impacts are having and, you know, be able to push back. So I think that if this is the will of the council, and we'll decide that obviously on Monday, you know, she definitely made it clear that it could help the cause. So with that, oh, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, sorry, before we leave that, I was gonna say the same thing that Alice said. The situation is ridiculous in the state of California. We've got wildfires that are making it too unhealthy for us to even step outdoors. And yet our governor is telling us that we can't move people inside our businesses from a dining perspective. So my 2 cents is that the letter needs to be strongly worded. This situation, I mean, this dumpster fire year that we've got is just completely getting worse, and our businesses aren't going to make it on the backside of this. So we got to do whatever we need to do. We got to be as loud as we need to be. We need to let them know that here at the local level, we're suffering. Our businesses are suffering. And I would suggest that all 5 of us sign the letter. And I would also suggest that we reach out to other incorporated cities within Placer County and tell them to do the same thing if they've not already done it. The situation is just crazy, and our numbers are coming down. We're doing what they told us to do, yet apparently it's not good enough for us to let our businesses open back up and try to survive. So strong letter. I suggest we all sign it, and all of us know other council members in our local jurisdictions. Call them and see if they're doing the same thing. If they're not, suggest that they do the same thing. This is crazy.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, anybody else have any comments on this item or questions? Okay, seeing and hearing none, let's go ahead and move to city actions and services. So I will turn it over to our city manager, John.
There I am, unmuted. Thank you, Daniel. Just a bunch of things that we're doing just as far as moving forward. I will tell you on the council agenda, we do have an agenda item regarding maybe the ability to do some enforcement for probably the most egregious offenders on various things. Just gives us a couple of tools in our tool bag if we had to do enforcement. But on a very positive note, I will tell you that we will be doing additional outreach. Met with Tyler from the station yesterday, and we expect that we're going to be meeting with the Downtown Association folks to talk about some of the traffic patterns and some of the alternatives for helping that area. we are working with the businesses out there as far as getting additional outdoor dining. And I actually, the discussion I had with Tyler was awesome, because we are going to start building a synergy on getting vibrancy into the associations. And as we work with both the Old Town District, the Downtown District, and really all of the business enterprises, we are going to do everything we can to get these businesses up and moving. There is a lot of the things expire, I guess, on September 15th. So I think what we're going to have to do is come back to the city council and just extend everything. You know, the reality is that from COVID, we've been looking at a number of things, but the result is going to be that we are going to need to have a huge paradigm shift moving forward, whether it's with COVID or what have you, on creating the type of business climate that is going to make people successful and has the flexibility to deal with these issues. So we've got the bottom line. We have the resolution and the things on the agenda on Monday. We're going to be meeting with the business associations in the coming weeks. I think we're looking at meeting with the Downtown Association as early as next week. The only night I told them that we were not available was Monday night, because we have a council meeting. And then, but moving forward, it's going to be exciting. If you look at literally what is happening with the businesses on what should be the slowest nights of the week, you see restaurants that have people in there, they're eating. What's happened at the Clock Tower. The idea is that we create great spaces where people are going to go out and enjoy, and we are seeing that. And in the Clock Tower, outside of that Tap and Vine, if you drive by there, everybody wants to stop by and have a glass of wine or a beer or something. It's a great spot. And you know, the one thing that we know about creating great energy is by people seeing life and activity happening in spaces. And so I can tell you that, you know, I've only been on the job for 2 weeks, but you see that energy, you see the potential, and we are absolutely going to just knock it out of the park. We'll move beyond COVID-19 much stronger. And as we work with the businesses just to make them successful. So I can tell you, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to working with everybody. And there are a lot of opportunities for us to come from this stuff. So that's my report.
Great, thank you, John. Any questions for the city manager on some of the city services or updates? Yeah, Alice, go ahead.
Just wondering, John, if we've received any other more of the unusual business requests for outdoor services like the Pilates and yoga. Have we received anything further? I mean, I know we're advancing the outdoor dining on several restaurants. We're scheduled to go out and help this weekend, but I'm just wondering some of the other businesses, have we, for public space usage or?
No, what we've gotten is mostly just kind of working with some of the businesses. Some of them have kind of expanded out and are a little rough at this point, but they need to work on a couple of things. But from other businesses, I haven't seen anything.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Any other questions for John? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to our next items, which is our Placer Shares program and the grant opportunities. A couple quick updates on this. Earlier this week, hopefully you saw Placer County Board of Supervisors allocated some additional for kind of a augmented portion of the Placer Shares program, specifically related to restaurants. And so this new component in this new grant program is called the Placer Shares Eats and Drinks. So there's $8 million for our small businesses and for our nonprofits. And so they're now allocating some additional money, $1.2 million, specifically aimed at restaurants, bars, and those type of businesses. So a lot of money coming. On Wednesday, the Chamber of Commerce, and I'll let Jackie jump in here, but the Chamber of Commerce hosted a town hall meeting with a number of the business owners to just discuss the program. County's Economic Development Director, Sherry Conway, joined the meeting and provided a very good, thorough update of the process and trying to help our businesses be successful in that. So Jackie, not to put you on the spot, but is there anything from the chamber that you wanted to add related to the Placer Shares program? We might have lost Jackie for the moment. In the interim, I don't know if anybody else was able to attend the Placer Shares Town Hall. Did anybody get a chance to join that meeting on Wednesday?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Rob, good questions. I only got to stay for the first couple of minutes, and then for obvious reasons, it's been busy this week, so I wasn't able to.
Right.
How'd that meeting go?
It was good. I mean, it was well attended, and again, I just shared the 2 links to the county pages that have the extra information. There was a lot of questions, so I feel like it was a really good service, and I think that's super crucial in this as we roll these programs out. That the more information that can be shared, the better. You know what I mean? Like people don't know. And for example, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, I had to step out for 5 minutes. Some county folks showed up, but so if you're a restaurant, you can apply to the Eats and Drinks program and the Shares program. So important to remember that, because 2 buckets, and sometimes people might think, you either or whatnot, but yeah, no, it was good. A lot of questions.
Jackie, about the town hall meeting, I don't know if you have any updates on how that goes, and I know you're working to plan a second one as well, but go ahead.
No, it was great. Sorry, I had to step away. I'm a one-man show today, and when someone walks in, I can't turn them away. But yes, the town hall meeting went really well. Everyone was really excited when we got off the call. I got quite a few emails of people asking questions. I gave them direction on where to go. I even got an email from Sherry that she was able to get some questions answered. So I forwarded that to the appropriate people. We are planning a second one. It will be on Thursday, the 27th at 8:30 a.m. So anyone that wasn't able to attend our last one, because it was put together very, very last minute. And an email will go out about that next week. It went on Facebook today. That's about it. We had actually 54 registrations on the last town hall meeting for putting it together last minute. I thought it was pretty great. Of course, they didn't all show up, but it was awesome. And I think Sherry did a good job about explaining what the Shares program is.
I have a quick question. It's my understanding the Eats and Drinks program was really a reduction in a fee, I think, or something, or is it an additional grant? Because I thought I also heard Cindy talk about they were refunding. I think it was the refund. I think they were refunding the health fee.
It's one of the industries that the county actually has regulatory power over. So they're allowing people to kind of get rebated their license fee or whatever it is that they pay the county. So that was the impetus of that.
Okay, thank you.
They are still calling it a grant program. So maybe next week when at the town hall meeting with the county, we need a little bit more information from them on the parameters.
Well, I think there's a limited amount. That's the issue, so, it's not as if they just said every business, every restaurant, can get a fee waiver. I think they set that pool of money aside to do that, which is why I think they're calling it a grant program versus a, refund.
Great, thank you. Any other questions on the Placer Shares program? Jackie, it sounds like you've already posted the town hall meeting for Thursday. So if we can all share that with our friends and our members and business owners to get that word out. So thank you very much, Jackie. And I'll just throw one reminder, the application period for the Placer Shares program opens on Tuesday. However, it is not a first come, first serve. So it's very important that businesses not feel pressured to get it in by Tuesday, but rather take their time to do a thorough application by the deadline. And I think it's a 2-week period. Does that sound right, Jackie? Yeah. So plenty of time here to get that in. Okay, moving on the agenda, if there's nothing else on the Placer Shares program. Next item here is our business personal protective equipment. So Jackie, I'll turn it to you to see if you have any updates on where we are with some of the PPE work.
I do. We got, thanks to John and his wonderful staff, we got another shipment in from the county of sanitizer and masks. We are taking over the Rose Room 1 square foot at a time. I just wanted to make sure that we had enough because this pandemic isn't, or the COVID's not going away. We're always going to need protection. So we actually ordered an extra pallet of hand sanitizer because according to the county, they are drowning in it. So they suggested that we give it out to our residents as well. Because this batch of PPE isn't as governed as the first batch, we are able to give it to individuals and not just businesses. So we have an extra pallet and we'll be doing a drive-through pickup for individuals later on coming up. And so if you know anyone that needs it, just let us know. We can give it away. I talked to Boys and Girls Club. We're gonna get them a bunch of cases of it. We're gonna take it out to daycares and just walk around the town and see who needs it and who, because it's expensive. Sherry's biggest thing from the county was that she went to buy it the other day. It was in line and she saw it on the aisle and she went to grab one because it was there and it was like $6 for an 8-ounce bottle of hand sanitizer, which is insane. So we just want to get it into people's hands so we can all stay safe.
Are you guys, hey, Jackie, are you going to advertise that it's available? Or are you planning to, like, on Facebook and stuff like that?
Yeah, Amy and I are going to get together and find a day that's the most convenient and do like a drive-through at City Hall for individuals. And as soon as I get that date together, I will put it on Facebook.
And that'll be
Thank you.
that'll be just for hand sanitizer, not masks, correct?
We are limited on our masks. If people really need masks, we can do it. But hand sanitizer is everywhere. So.
Alice, did you have a question?
I was just going to say thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that we can partner and get that out and even to the individuals too. That's fantastic. So.
No, and I want to thank the city for allowing us to keep it there and let us distribute out of there because we just don't have the space here. I'm gonna have to take over Rob's office soon.
Any other questions for Jackie on PPE? Okay, not seeing any. We will go ahead and move on to our association reports. And first, our Auburn Chamber of Commerce report. So Jackie, 3 for 3 here. What is the latest with the chamber?
We are working on PPE and town hall meetings and just trying to get through and get our businesses back in town or get back going. I did get a couple calls today about the 14-day and that the county is working hard to get the governor to help us open up. I will report back to them that the city is going to be working on that as well because they are both, they were both city businesses. So they were very disturbed. And we've gotten calls about a lot, other than that, those are my 2 personal friends, but we have gotten quite a few calls about the 14-day. So we are fielding those as well.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Jackie? Okay, we'll go move on to our association reports. And why don't we start with the 49er Business Association today? So Monique, what's going on along Highway 49?
Hi, thank you. We are doing, we don't meet during the summer months typically, but we have kept in touch more this year, talking to our membership and seeing the needs that they have. I did just send out the information packet and all the information for the shares grant, and I'm following up with some of the businesses that I know really could be assisted by this. The board is personally trying to make some calls and reach out to those businesses to make sure they know about it. We do have a meeting, our first board meeting again after being dark for a couple months is in September. So we'll be able to follow up more than, other than that, that is about it.
Great. Well, thank you. That sounds. Move on to the Downtown Business Association. April, what is going on in downtown?
Hi there. We are installing what I think will be our last outdoor dining barrier in front of Herradura and Ninja Sushi on Sunday morning at 9. It's a big one, Daniel, if you're available, because 40 plants and it's 12 tanks. And so it'll take us a little while, but 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, unless there's something with the smoke that is particularly horrible. We hope to get it done then.
We have a good system down, April.
we have
We
a great
have it
system.
down now.
The team all just disperses and does it. Let's see that we got some draft plans from the city about one way on Lincoln Way, some options for that. So the board meets a week from Monday, but I already distributed it so people could be thinking about it and talking about it, some of the options that were created there. Let's see, I am trying to organize just a Zoom meeting to talk about Christmas in Auburn 2020 with the business districts in the chamber. And so I think we're going to be able to get that set up this coming week. And I included Menjel on that. And I think maybe John is going to, Menjel sounded like maybe John would join us on that. If you can maybe, I'm trying to get, it sounds like the lights parade people, Steve is kind of working that on the side. And I would like to just have everybody talk and get their ideas out there. Not that we're going to decide anything or firm it up, but just see what everybody's thinking so we could start working on being coordinated before anybody locks into something. And, you know, many brains create great ideas. So I'd like to have everybody on board when we meet this week by Zoom.
I think Steve was just talking to the police department, finding out if it was something we could do. He wasn't moving forward on anything. It was just him just trying to find out what we can do and what we're capable of.
Yeah, we just have some crazy ideas that we want to share. I think that's about it that we're working on right now.
Great. Thank you very much, April.
Yep.
Rob, how about Visit Placer?
Yeah, first I want to say welcome, John. I had to step out for a few minutes when you made your remarks. So welcome. Looking forward to working with you and all the good stuff here in town. So yeah, it continues to be a pivot here toward supporting our businesses, safety, responsible traveling. I don't know if you guys saw the video. If any of you saw the video we put out, a few of you were on the air. I'll share the link so you can, I'll share the YouTube link for you just so you can have it. I think I will, maybe not. Oh, there we go. Anyway, it's something we put together to try to really tap into the people that are coming. Continue to reinforce the messaging that if you're going to come out, be respectful, be responsible, social distance. Let's keep our great outdoors open. But the thing we're really excited about right now is we're kind of partnering with the county PIO's office and starting to try to create some content as it relates to our businesses, some of their creative solutions. So I know the county was up at Stations today, kind of taking some shots of their outdoor areas. They were going to shoot Trey Potse, but with the smoke, Gary was didn't think it was the best day for it. So, like everyone else, it seems like 2020 has a million curveballs it wants to keep throwing at us. And every one of them, it requires an agility and a pivot. So hopefully the smoke will clear out. Hopefully we won't have any more bad fires in the next foreseeable weeks, and we can kind of keep plowing forward.
Thank you very much. I will be the bearer of bad news, but there is more lightning expected Sunday night through Tuesday. So we saw 12,000 lightning strikes in Northern California between Saturday and today. So with 540 fires since Saturday. So optimistic that that will not be the case. And I think we should also be optimistic. The thing we didn't mention too was how busy a number of us were related to the heat wave over the weekend, and then the potential rolling blackouts that really never came to complete fruition in our direct area, fortunately. But I know a lot of folks here on this call spent a lot of time planning for what we will do to keep operations going. So definitely, Rob, your comments about 2020 are true. So
that quickly, I just want to ask you a quick question, Daniel, as the fire guy. The spectacular nature of the lightning that and the widespreadness of it, like, has that happened very often, and what causes it?
So the type of lightning storms are not frequent. The last time we had this was in 2008. The time before that was in 1987. So every couple of decades or so, you get storm systems that come in during the summer months and don't bring a lot of rainfall. And when they don't bring rainfall, but they still are a storm system with lightning, you get all these dry lightning sparked fires. Not common, but this isn't the first time by still a historic event. The amount of acres burned this week is about the size of the state of Rhode Island. So just to put it into perspective, it's been a crazy week, and we'll see what it is. Now, of course, I'm on a break from that, so I really, will stick to not talking about fire stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
My other shirt, literally,
Right.
I'm wearing now at this moment. So after this, I'll put my uniform back on and go back to work. But anyways, with that, for our next meeting, I wanted to just bring up to the group. We've been in a kind of 2-week pattern, but with the 14-day period ending a week and a half, if we meet in 2 weeks, there may be information about what's going to happen on day 14 after. So I was thinking that it might be best for us now to consider getting together next Friday. And if there's nothing new to report, then we just won't meet. And if anybody feels strongly either way, send me an email. But at this point, I just wanted to mention now that I'm leaning towards us having a meeting on Friday, just so we can touch bases where we are with what happens after the 14-day period ends, which again is September 2nd. So more to be announced, TBA on that. So with that gets us through the agenda. Just want to go do a quick round table, see if there's anything last minute good of the order for anybody. Otherwise, we're all busy and we can get back to work. So not seeing any. Thank you, everybody. Please stay tuned to our regular session of the City Council on Monday, because obviously there's going to be some additional items related to discussions today on that agenda. So with that, I will go ahead and call the meeting to, I will close the meeting. Have a good day, everybody.
Goodbye.